move on to slide number 8. Again, 50% of the monthly salary, gross salary, shall be equivalent to the minimum wages. Okay, so there is a section 5, which says no employer shall pay to any employee wages less than the minimum rates of wages notified by the appropriate government. It is very clear, section 5. Right now, assume that the employer is availing the exclusion part to the maximum, that is 50%. Right, so the remaining 50% then shall be considered as wage. Again, that management should ensure that 50% of the grass is equivalent to or more than the minimum rates of wages. Otherwise, that salary structure will not be considered as a proper structure. Right, because if you look at the current position, if you go through the judgment given under the air freight case, it clearly says if the monthly gross salary of the individual is equivalent to or more than the minimum rates of wages, then it will be considered as a sufficient compliance. And for determining whether what are all the components to be included, it clearly says, so what are all the components which are included under the definition of the term wages under Minimum Wages Act? Those are all the components which can be included, which includes, of course, specifically HRA also. Right, but it is no more possible here. Right, so if the person avails to have the exclusion part of wages up to 50%, then the rest of the 50% he has to ensure that at least that matches with the minimum rates of wages prescribed for that particular individual. So currently 100% of the wages can be equivalent to or more than the minimum rates of wages, which is that position is getting changed. Instead, it will be 50% of the gross wage, which should be equivalent to minimum wages. Otherwise, it will not be considered as a proper salary structure. Now I move on to slide number 9. Again, I think this is air freight case. Clearly, it says aggregate of basic and other monthly components, including HRA. Very specifically, it is mentioned is more than or equivalent to the minimum rates of wages. The same will be considered as sufficient compliance for the purpose of minimum. Of course, this is only for the Minimum Wages Act purpose. Of course, this is a very popular judgment. Even today, the principle laid down in this judgment is valid, right? So now we have to see what are all the components which are included under the definition of the term wage under the Code on Wages, right? So clearly it excludes HRA, and it also allows employers to have 50% of the monthly gross in the exclusion part, which means the rest alone will be considered as wages. So when it is read along with section 5, the employer has to ensure that 50% of the monthly gross salary of the individual shall be equivalent to or more than the minimum rates of wages prescribed.